morning out here in Colorado. It's March 30th of 2013, and you know, we're going to come out here today, and what we're going to be covering is the new crossbow from Barnett. It's called the Vengeance. It's their first sort of, you know, reverse limb crossbow. And I talked to David Barnett at the ATA show, and we were pretty excited to get this thing on a review. You know, the Ghost 400 and the Ghost 350 really got a lot of views, and we appreciate that. And you know, this is the next in line of what Barnett has. And coming up this summer, you guys are gonna see they got a crossbow that's gonna blow your guys' mind. I mean, this thing is like the MacGyver of crossbows. It's got a place for a knife and a little fold-out quiver and stuff on it, but we'll cover that when we get it. But today what we're gonna be covering is the Vengeance. And like I said, the first reverse limb crossbow that they have. And it looks pretty darn sweet. I can attest to that. That's just awesome. It's got some monster cams on it. Right, the Vengeance has a, you can read right here, but it shoots 365 feet per second. So that's still smoking fast, better than any vertical bow out there. It's got an 18-inch power stroke, meaning that the arrow travels 18 inches down the riser. This is the riser, or the rail, if you will. It's 140 pounds pull weight, so not very tough. You know, it's gonna be pretty easy to pull back, but let's go ahead and open this puppy up. You guys know how I really like how Barnett packages their stuff. So, opening it up, you have your riser and everything. Let me get the manual out of there. You have the riser is packed right here in the front with 3 bolts it comes with. You know, pretty much everything you need. Things you can see here, and you really probably might not be able to see it because of plastic, but it's got a vertical grip. So you have a handle almost like on an M4 or something, and you have your handle there. It provides more stability for shooting. And we'll cover that here in depthly, but let's take that out. Move that to the side. One thing I like about Barnett crossbows is they're so simple to put together. All right? And you know, if you guys happen to buy one of these, you can always use this video to help you guys put it together. Right? They have a little thing on here. It's a caution. It says do not place thumb or fingers above here when you're at full draw. I've seen some people take off the tops of their hands as far as the skin goes. You know, overall, pretty darn cool. All right, so taking out the limbs, if you will, this is like the riser. Carbon riser, nice and light, nice and light. I mean, overall, these monster cams on there, it just looks so cool. I'm used to always putting a crossbows from Barnett like this, but we're gonna have to put it on like this. All right, so let's see what else we have in here. We have a hardware box here. It has everything in it. Let's see, you have your foot stirrup here. Got our rope cocking device here from Barnett. Got a string suppressor system here. They even have another butt pad for it, so you can put on there, reduce any kind of recoil. It'll also take up some of the shock of the bow. Some field points for the bolts that we got. And then they got every possible Allen wrench you could want with the screws. Another Allen wrench here. So that's pretty much it. We got the stirrup, got a spare part package, another arrow retainer here, which is this plastic piece here that sits and holds your arrow in just in case you wear it out. Set that over there. Okay, and then this one we have our little Barnett little carbon looking quiver. It's an Apex gear quiver. That's pretty cool. And our scope. So we'll put that in there for right now. Right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put together, following the instructions, put together the crossbow. Here we have the stock, and it's got an underslung rail here where your quiver attaches to. You can put a light on there if you don't want to carry a quiver. Like I said, it's got the foregrip, if you will, and you can hold it either flat, or you push a button here on the side and you straighten it at a certain angle like this, or bring it all the way down, you know, like the old Rambo movies. All right, so you can hold it like that and when you're shooting it. So just simple, folds down, folds even out like that. Very adjustable, I like that. Okay, so it says here in the instructions, and I'm going to straighten this just a little bit because you see there's a blank spot here. That's where the actual riser, since this is a reverse limb bow, that's where that goes. I'm going to take this tag off. All right, now there I go again, always thinking with Barnett I'm going the other way. Okay, so looking at this, you slide this in here. Let me push this forward. I'm gonna move that like that. All right, so you see how I have the grip is sort of facing it at 45 degrees forward. All right, and the key thing on this is there's a little notch here, like a male and a female in where the stock goes. And you should set it like either on a hard surface on the ground or whatever. And you want to make sure everything's aligned up. And the nice thing is you can't mess this up because it's got like a sort of like a jigsaw puzzle piece where everything goes together. All right? And it sets in there just like that. Now, the instructions state that you take one of these bolts, and it doesn't matter what hole you put it in. But you put it in there and you hand tighten without a lock washer on it. First one, I just put the second one in there with a lock washer on it, and I'm tightening it really tight. Then you have to take the other one out and put a lock washer on it. And all that does is make sure that the screw holes, because the screws sort of move independently, or the holes, if you will, they're sort of like underneath the rail on a little track. You just want to make sure those all align really well. All right, so pretty much if you look right here, it's all set up. The strings on top of the rail, the cables are in between the cable slide here, and you could push this now and pull it down into the position right there. All right, so now we're going to install the suppressors. Pretty simple. You look at the end of your riser here, there's two holes. There's two metal holes here. And all you have to do is align those up. It goes on just like that. Now what we're going to do is take your last bolt here that you have, and you're going to stick it in the front. You get that 3/8 inch, I think it's a 3/8, oh, 3/16 Allen wrench, and you just sort of screw it in there. All right, so once you get that in, there's two little holes on each side of the riser here, and you have two little Allen screws that go in there as well. So we'll put those in, and then be ready to go here. Bolts tightened, so the suppressor system's on there. Last thing we got to put on here, I mean, we'll put the scope on, but last thing as far as the assembly of the crossbow is your foot stirrup, and there's two holes here on the side. Foot stirrup has two holes. All right, so your last part we're going to put on here is the foot stirrup. Now I just want to talk to you about this here. There's two little grooves here in the riser, and your foot stirrup, it's real wide, so a lot of people might think it goes on the outside. Well, that's not the case. You squeeze it together and you push it in there till you can align the holes up so it's real smooth. You don't have that big flange. I'm sure a lot of people have made a mistake. All right, so that you take your bolt here, you put it through. There's two holes. Just gotta make sure you get them all set up. Look at it from the side. Push it down if you have to. All right, comes right there. This one right underneath of it, so you have 2 points of contact. And then you tighten them down, and I think we're ready to put the scope on. All right, so there it is. It's all set up without the scope. Got that nice handle. Boy, I like that. Okay, you have a different recoil pad. Like I said before, you could take this one off and put a thicker recoil pad, which will give you a little more eye relief. Plus, this is nice and hollow, absorbs some of that shock. It's made of rubber. That's pretty cool. As far as the scope goes, just like any other scope. It's got Weaver mounts. This one comes already set up, ready to go, which is something I always like. Barnett always, man, they send some of the best stuff out here I've ever seen. They got some real cool stuff. All right, so you take your crossbow scope, you stick it on there. Depending on what your, I don't know what your eye relief's gonna be, you're gonna have to set it up for yourself. You wanna make sure that it's nice and tight with your screwdriver. And for today's purposes, that's pretty good. All right, so there you go. The Vengeance. Pretty, sweet looking crossbow, I must say. I mean, that's cool. Now what you gotta do is put your arrows together. You can put your quiver on the bottom. We're not gonna put the quiver on. We all know how to put a quiver on. You just put it together, you get it ready. You can hold it like this. Hold it all the way down. Put it at an angle, however you want it. Just make it comfortable for yourself. I sort of prefer this little foregrip like that. That's pretty sweet. All right. But for travel purposes, you can always have it closed. It's easy to pull out. Just push the button. There you guys go. Sweet looking crossbow. It's the first sort of reverse limb one I've seen from Barnett. I told David at the ATA show, I said, this is just gonna look cool as heck. And I'm pretty excited. So why don't we go ahead and we're gonna draw it, and then we're gonna shoot it. I'll let you guys know my thoughts on it, but pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, so we got the Vengeance right here. All right, what we're gonna do is you put your foot stirrup down, put your foot through it. Barnett's come out with this real cool sort of cable cocking device that they had before. It just used to be the two and they were sort of independent. All right, this one has a rail in the middle that rides on a rail. All right, you put your string. There's a little notch here on the back, just like all the other crossbows from Barnett. All right, then you just sort of put down there, get your, make sure that you got your string in the little notches there. And this is only 140 pounds, so it's not too bad. So remember, when you cock these, you just want to sort of like you're standing up. Don't use your arm strength, use your back. All right, you just sort of cock it, and you hear it clicks. Now, I always do this with a crossbow, you want to make sure you come off slowly in case it didn't catch, because some of them, they won't catch. I've never had a problem with Barnett, but you just want to make sure you come off slowly. See, and the string comes off slowly. Take your rope cocking device here, which is pretty cool. I'll show you guys that rail. Okay, safety's on. That's one thing I love about Barnett, is that the safety always turns on when you cock the bow. All right, so you have your bolt here. I always put the cock vane down, sort of slide it in underneath the arrow holder. Make sure it's seated all the way back, and you can look in there. Yep, it's all the way back. Give it a little tudge. And right there, I mean, look how narrow that is. Those limbs are really pushed back in that string. So remember, always keep your finger straightened off the trigger till you're ready to fire. One of the first safety steps with any firearm or crossbow, and pretty much I consider a crossbow a firearm. So, all right, take your little thing and you're ready to go kill something. Let's go kill some turkeys or hogs, but let's go ahead and shoot this and see how it shoots. Okay, so we have the Vengeance here. We're ready to fire it. See, I got that little stock down. We're ready to fire. So you can do it if you want it up. Remember, never put your fingers or hands anywhere above. And I think that's one of the reasons why they put this little grip down here so your hands aren't sitting up here on the rail. Yeah, I like that. I really like that. Safety, push it forward, simple little thumb flick, push it forward and it's ready to fire. That didn't kick. That didn't do nothing. It's quiet. That's pretty cool. That is really cool. I'll tell you, the Vengeance from Barnett, you know, in Colorado, you can't use them in archery season. You can use them in rifle season. But there's a lot of states now that in archery season, you're allowed to use a crossbow. And I tell you what, David Barnett and Barnett Crossbows, I say his name because he's a good friend of mine and I like him a lot. And I love the stuff that he comes out with. And this is just cool. Super quiet, fast, very light, doesn't weigh anything. I love the foregrip on there. The sort of handle you can walk, you can stalk through the woods with it. Very light considering some of the other crossbows I've tested. I mean, the Ghost 400 was super light as well. I mean, this thing doesn't weigh anything. I can hold it with my hand like that. But you can stalk through the woods with these and not get fatigued. You know, Game Plan Gear, I got my hat here. They got a great crossbow pack. You can put it in a crossbow pack and carry it. Just awesome, awesome all the way around. Look forward to the summer. We're gonna do a new one they have. I call it the MacGyver crossbow. I mean, it is super cool. And it's got like a pull down here, it's got a knife in there, it's got all kinds of cool stuff. So I'll tell you what,